All right, the recording has begun. I'll turn it over to you, Anne.
Well, hello, everybody. I want to say thank you. Karen, thank you for reaching out and inviting me to come share about Flipgrid today. Greetings to everybody who's here, or if you're watching this in the future on demand. My name is Anne Cosma, and I work as an educator innovation lead on Team Flipgrid at Microsoft. And I love to describe my job as a teacher helping teachers. It's my 20th year in education. The majority of it has been spent in Southern California in public education. I'm a former first grade teacher, so channeling that primary educator sort of wacky vibe, but also a kindergarten through 8th grade teacher on special assignment, supporting educators with the innovative and instructional use of technology. And my job at Flipgrid, I love to say, is a teacher helping teachers. So I'm so proud to be able to share a little bit about Flipgrid with you all today, share some ideas on how you can use Flipgrid to empower your community in higher ed. And then I'm going to do a quick demo and walkthrough of the platform so you are familiar and feel confident in how to get set up or how to get this started in your community. So on the screen, you should be seeing just the homepage, flipgrid.com. We are ready to learn together. So of course, I will share information at the end to get started, but if you like pushing buttons and playing to learn during professional learning opportunities, definitely head to flipgrid.com, click that sign up button, and feel free to play along while I'm speaking. I do love to start by sharing the mission of our work. And our mission is to help you empower every learner on the planet to share their voice and respect the diverse voices of others. And I love sharing a little bit about the origin of Flipgrid. It did start at the University of Minnesota in the College of Education. Dr. Charlie Miller was working with 12 graduate level students, and he was leaving to go study some education systems and needed an asynchronous way to stay in touch with his students. This was 2012, and as he was traveling, there was limited ways he could stay in touch during a live synchronous dialogue. So one weekend, him and a buddy decided to code the first version of Flipgrid, and it was for 12 students. They forgot to write a line of code in it, and some teaching librarians found it. And you know what educators do when they're excited about a tool is they share, share, share. So this has sort of spread from the university out to the world. And I'm so excited to be able to share a little bit, like I said, with you today. Flipgrid is meant to be a social learning platform. It is a video communication tool. If you've never heard of it, we are a free video communication platform by Microsoft. It is meant also to be a simple, fun way to engage your students and your learning community with fun, fulfilling, empowering, creative possibilities to share their voice. And as we get into this, you will see this can be as simple as a selfie-style video or utilizing all of the creative options and effects inside the Flipgrid camera. I mentioned this is completely free. It's accessible. You are allowed to get your community starting utilizing you as the educators and professors are the ones creating the community, and you invite students to participate. So you always remain in control. And my goal for this today, I know some of you are joining in and listening live, but as I mentioned, if you're listening to this in the future, the goal for this session is to just walk through a few slides, share some of the ideas to help you get an understanding about what Flipgrid is, as well as share some really great ideas and insights from folks in the higher ed community. And then I'm going to launch the platform live and do a quick demo and share with you how to find a few resources. But it's as simple as 1, 2, 3, really. Once you create your account, you start by creating a group. Think of a group as a classroom, your learning community. It is your community where you host and facilitate discussions, and you always remain in control. So you can get started by utilizing your school email domain. If you're utilizing I know many of you have Blackboard. Karen mentioned that you are new with the Microsoft account, so you definitely can sign up using your Microsoft school domain and invite your community to participate. So on the group or on the page, you see a few examples of a group, and think of it, like I said, your community or an individual class or an area of study. And then you spark discussions with what we call topics. So a topic is what you do to get that conversation started. The question, the idea, the experiment, the response to a periodical or a professional article that you've read. It's what you send to ignite that discussion in your community. And of course, then they respond with their individual videos. Now, I mentioned in K-12 specifically, but I'm just going to drop in a quick notice. You always remain in control of student responses. You can moderate them and view them before they become visible to others. But the magic happens in a social learning aspect. So think of your higher ed students, think of your professional community engaging in rich dialogue and discourse about the area of study. That's the beautiful thing. As we lean in and learn on together, you can determine how you want your community to engage. So you create that group, you can add topics. Please know all of Flipgrid is unlimited. You can have as many groups and as many topics as you want. And then, of course, the magic happens when your community begins to add their response. So they can add video responses. You can enable them to engage in text comments, video and text. As mentioned, you remain in control and they leave their videos. You also have the ability to engage back with public and private feedback, comments, etc. And so on screen, you just see some examples of what this looks like. But as mentioned, I will go live into the platform and show you what buttons to push and how to get started. Of course, as a teacher helping teachers, I have to point out one of my favorite ways to help you work smarter, not harder, and that's finding ready to use content shared by other educators as well as featured partners in a section of Flipgrid that we call the Discovery Library. And you'll notice across the top of the screen, you have different features, your groups, your discovery, and then shorts, as well as when you click on your profile photo, you have some other areas to engage with. But primarily groups is where you will live, but this discovery section is this magical treasure chest of ready to use content. There's plenty of content for higher ed as well as K-12 and professional organizations, professional learning, community, beyond the classroom, etc. So this is a place with enriching discussion prompts, and all you have to do is go in there, and of course I will show this live, but this is where you find ready to use content that you can use or remix from other folks around the world. So this is something I also love to share in professional learning settings. My good friend and teammate, Journée Armand, says, if you can think it, you can Flipgrid it. And this is really true no matter what age or what area of learning you are in. If it's a classroom setting, a university setting, enterprise, organizations, and beyond. I'm going to draw your attention to the section of this page talking about university examples. Some really cool ways we've seen folks using Flipgrid in the higher ed community is to host office hours. So imagine you are wanting a virtual space to have folks to connect with. We've seen folks utilize a Flipgrid topic and post either a URL or a QR code on their office door. And if you are not able to host face-to-face office hours, you could use this almost like video voicemail. Really cool things, of course, to engage in Socratic discussion or extend their learning. We've seen folks practice research presentations, advisor check-ins, course reviews, guest speakers, and I do have some examples I'll share in my slides, but one I'm going to point out is campus clubs. So as you all are thinking about ways to share clubs and organizations on your community or smaller areas of study or an individual learning community, if you can think it, you can Flipgrid it. So a big idea here is, how do we empower communities with voice, choice, and agency? And video and creative storytelling is one powerful way we all enable our community to share their learning or reflect on their learning, document their learning journey, etc. So I mentioned I'm going to share a few examples from the higher ed community, and I'm going to go through these quickly just to get your brain zinging, as I love to say, but some examples that we've seen folks share on social. All of these also happen to be people I know in real life, and I feel comfortable and confident, and with their permission, sharing their personal examples from their learning communities. Kimber Underdown is an assistant professor at the University, Grand Canyon University College of Education. Wow, I had a really hard time saying that. Kimber uses Flipgrid in her learning community, actually has for years. She's in charge of professional learning in her community, so she actually hosts professional learning opportunities or the ways her staff can engage in back and forth dialogue on Flipgrid. She is one hosting virtual office hours, but one of the things that she speaks about is the power of Flipgrid providing her the opportunity to save time on the way she gives feedback to her students. She also speaks about the power of video as a way to honor identity and voice and allow her to connect with her community with empathy. And I think that's kind of powerful when you're talking about remote situations or asynchronous or virtual learning, even if you have the opportunity to visit folks with face-to-face learning opportunities. Sometimes in text, that meaning or the nuance and the influence of what you're trying to communicate might be lost, but with the power of video, your expression, your tone, etc., is communicated. So she spoke specifically about empathy within her community, and I actually quite loved that. This is an example from last summer, but what you're looking at is a tweet she shared, and you see that things like 46,000 videos have been shown, 330,000 times her videos have been viewed. So the reason I'm sharing this is just to speak to the incredible dynamic of how a virtual video community continues to engage. In a K-12 example I love to share, imagine if we spent 3 days listening one person at a time to an oral presentation, or imagine everybody was listening at the same time. When you think of human hours spent engaging, a video platform like Flipgrid is a brilliant way to level up the way you spend and maximize that time learning and learning in community. My good friend, Dr. Tim Green, is the head of education technology at Cal State Fullerton, my alma mater. But he hosts a fully remote program, and he talks about the way Flipgrid has transformed assessments and how his community was delighted with the personal feedback that the educators were providing to the community. He spoke specifically about how this allowed them to foster community and grow despite being separated. Our good friend, Dr. Ramesh Langani, he's formerly at Doane University, now the head of science at Poly Prep, but he is a biology professor and spoke about giving his students creative ways to articulate complex biological ideas orally. He also spoke about opportunities to connect and collaborate with students in the K-12 setting, giving his high ed students the opportunity to become mentors to young science students. He utilizes Flipgrid as well to advocate for women in STEM globally and help broaden perspectives. And I wanted to share that example real quick. He has a grid, 1,000 women in STEM, and he's working to get up to 1K examples, and right now has approximately 100 of women all over the world sharing their field of science. And this is one great way that you can see folks, every smile, every person on that screen right there, and then you scroll down and you see a bunch more folks. It represents an individual. and their ideas and their voice. And what a beautiful way to honor the diverse voices represented, but also provide rich examples in context directly from that original source. My good friend Heather runs the intensive English program at Cal Baptist University here in Riverside, California, and she spoke of the power of transforming her oral language assessments with Flipgrid. She talked about the anxiety and the stress that her students have in acquiring and using a new language, but how they were able to build confidence in their ability, the ease of use and practice and repetition. And so if you think of a picture is worth 1,000 words, what is a video worth, right? Or repeated examples, or even them seeing and documenting their own growth over time. And video platforms like Flipgrid provide that and give you that kind of flexibility. I want to point out, and I will definitely share this when I launch the platform, a tool called the Immersive Reader. This is a Microsoft learning tool that you might be familiar with already, or if you're brand new to it, please know it is a non-stigmatizing learning tool available and accessible for all that provides video or visual and audio supports. And I definitely will model this, but whether students have dyslexia or dysgraphia, or they need a picture dictionary, or they want to use a translation tool, or they need to change the font size or contrast the background, this is a beautiful accessibility tool that is fully built in and embedded throughout Flipgrid, whether you're reading the prompt on the screen or reading a student's text comment in response. So this is available to anybody and everybody throughout Flipgrid. And additionally, this is an example I love to share that's coming out of the UK from Newcastle University. Last year, of course, as we're all pivoting to because of COVID to remote learning, they hosted their graduation and medical student celebration of reciting the Hippocratic Oath on Flipgrid, which was just a powerful way to see a community celebrate and take that oath publicly as they're required to do. The fact that they were then immediately going into medical service at the height of a global pandemic is such a powerful example. And then there's one more example I love to share, Jael Karende, who actually is an intern on Team Flipgrid this year. She's starting a job with Microsoft this coming fall, but as an undergrad student, she was the student body president at Michigan, and in her leadership course, their motto was connection before content. And if we think about the ways that folks are growing up and some traits that students and young people of today, they want that connectivity, want that interaction, relationships matter. And I thought this was so interesting that the leadership program at Minnesota was talking about connection and that human element before the content. But what she said was whenever the university professors and her community had to have hard conversations, they felt that much more safe to enter into those conversations because they already had community established in the way that they used Flipgrid and were familiar with each other or communicating virtually and in video with each other. So I know all of you, as you get ready to launch a new year of learning in Alabama, you all are preparing and probably already having so many conversations and other trainings related to things like, how do we work with digital tools? How do we provide global opportunities? What does social learning look like? What if students are mobile only in their learning? Or how do we have that visual element that really transforms and provides meaningful content-rich opportunity? I want to share just a few more examples of folks and what they're saying directly from social media. But this is an educator, Susana Galante, who talks about using Grid Pals, which is just a collaboration opportunity inside of Flipgrid with professors and students from across the world to share their experience with each other. You think about social learning and the ability to collaborate and learn from each other. More examples from Dr. Ramesh Langani, how he has his bio students make 3-minute research paper summaries on Flipgrid, and they critique and interpret the data, and they reflect on that supplementary material, and they connect and collaborate with those K-12 classrooms. I love that he also shares the example of using the built-in screen recorder as a way for his students to share different lengths of videos, which is what you can do, but they make conservation pitches, and they pitch their ideas to their community. So the cool thing to consider is how switching the time of a video response challenges them, but also empowers them to be more precise and concise in the way that they're articulating their learning. And this is a music educator. Brad Weaver shares, even in higher ed, the goal of integrating technology and assisting students in developing their musicianship is still possible regardless the setting. So one other idea before I wrap up the slides and go into the platform, I saw this tweet, and our community shared this. Iowa State, their student union was using Flipgrid last year to share their clubs and organizations. So what a really cool way to provide access for folks, whether or not they're physically attending the school or able to be there for an event in person. So they had 900 plus student organizations and shared them on Flipgrid, and provided the opportunity, despite social distancing, to still get connected and feel a part of a greater community. So that's a quick rundown of some big ideas, and our mission at Flipgrid, as mentioned, is to empower every voice. So I know Karen Burns and I are connected on social, and that's how we got connected today, for me to come and share a few things with you. But I would encourage you to reach out or let us know how we can help if you have additional questions. Flipgrid is a thriving community of educators around the world on social media. So if you are on Twitter or social accounts, definitely feel free to get connected to @Flipgrid or the hashtag Flipgrid for all. And of course, we have a powerful help center that has answers to all your frequently asked questions, really great supports, quick videos, tutorials, bite-sized learning to help. But what I want to do is actually walk you through how to get started with your community. So it only takes a moment. And this is the part where if you want to launch a browser, or if you have your browser open, you're welcome to get started at flipgrid.com. If you want to, I share a community builder code. You're welcome to sign up with my code as well, which is just signup.flipgrid.com/from/AMK for Anne-Marie Cosma. But head on over to flipgrid.com and click that blue button. What I'm going to do is go ahead and minimize this screen. And actually, Karen, can you give me a thumbs up and confirm you're still seeing the flipgrid.com website? Perfect. All right. So as mentioned, flipgrid.com, and it is a completely free platform. So if you need to, go ahead and click up that educator sign up button. But what I'm going to do is just go into my community, and I would just get there simply by going log in, but I already have it open. And so this is what it looks like when you go inside of your Flipgrid admin account. And I'm just going to point out across the top, you'll notice I have 52 different groups, 248 topics in this account. As mentioned, think of your groups as your classroom, and topic, of course, individual discussion. You'll notice across the top, these are just the toggle switches to get from groups to discovery. Flipgrid Shorts is your own creative space. And of course, within your profile, you have different features that you can get into. But what I want to do is just go through the setup of how quick it is to get your community started. So when you click on a group, you're setting up that first classroom. So I might say U of A Reflections. Right? And that's my group for today. Now, I have the ability to choose how I want my members or my students to join. I would suggest you use your email domain. So if this is uofa.com, uofa.edu, for example, I'm just going to click in and say flipgrid.com and Microsoft.com. Talking and texting, typing at the same time sometimes are a challenge, right? So whatever your domain is, whatever comes after the @ symbol is the quickest and easiest way to provide access to your group for your learning community. You also, if you want to upload multiple people or keep it to a specific list of people, you can upload a CSV file, but nobody is going to know unless you invite them with what we call a join code. It's the link to join your community, but adding your domain is the quickest, simplest way. You also can add a username, which is typically used for younger students who don't have a school email address, or a different alternative where you can put a unique identifier for each student. You can utilize a Google Classroom sync, etc. But that's it. It's that simple. Give it a name and manage how your folks are going to want to add. These are the details, and I'm going to click on settings for just a moment to help you be aware of what else you can do. Specifically, email notifications. I like to turn mine to never, so that you don't clutter up your email inbox with extra emails, but you can determine how frequently you want to receive notifications, if you want a weekly wrap up, or even allow the members of your group to receive notifications. So just toggle between the details and the settings, but it's as simple as giving it a name and choosing how you want your group members to join. And then you create a group. And you will see the group is ready. And we launch it with an introduction topic ready for you to use. But it's as simple as copying and pasting this link. Let's say you're sending out an email or your course syllabus. You can copy and paste that or utilize any of these sharing options. If you're utilizing Microsoft Teams with your Microsoft account, go ahead and feel free to share it to Teams, embed it in your LMS or anything, or just note it's as simple as copy and paste. And then this is what it looks like inside your account. So you notice you have that one introduction topic, hello, I am. This is a great way. And if you don't like this and you're like, okay, I don't even want those emojis in there, that might look a little childish, you could come in and edit and get rid of them and begin to make it unique or customized for your learning community, right? So maybe I want to say, first day intros, I'm excited to learn with you. Let's explore the camera features, right? I can even get rid of this if you don't want it, but any edits, you simply click update. And again, I was able to edit it simply by clicking on the ellipses at the top of the screen. Now, before I show you how simple it is to create a new topic, I mentioned that immersive reader. So that is the learning tool fully embedded throughout Flipgrid. Anytime you see this book and speaker icon, that is the learning tool available to everybody. And I'm going to take a moment and quickly demo this just so you see this powerful accessibility tool. You have the ability to change the voice settings, the speed, the selection, etc. You also can have the text read aloud to you. Another option is to change the text preferences, increase or decrease the size and the spacing. You can also determine if you want a different font for visual accessibility or contrast between the themes, right? So that is the text preferences. Additionally, syllabication, you can turn on or off, identify parts of speech, even show labels. So if you're working with a community, speakers of other languages, or folks acquiring a new language, or even practicing as an English speaker of another language, these are really great tools that provide all kinds of supports. You also have reading preferences. So whether it's a line focus to provide that kind of help and support, the picture dictionary, you can turn on or off, and then a translation tool. So let's say I'm going to change this, I'm going to choose Croatian. You can choose by word or by document. And so this is just a really powerful way that you can toggle between the languages or provide that support to anybody who determines they want to click on this and use the immersive reader. So let's go ahead and get this back to English. And here's an example of what happens with the picture dictionary. This is powered by Boardmaker, which is used in a lot of different programs. But what a powerful way to provide supports for folks that's just there for anybody who clicks on it. So you'll notice I'm still in that introduction topic that's automatically created for you, but I'm going to go back to what it's nested in. Remember, this is the U of A reflections, and you see that blue button that says topic. So this is how you would go through the workflow of setting up a brand new topic. Again, you give it a title, Day 1 Reflections, right? Anything you want to title it. You also have the ability to create the description, and you have up to 1,000 characters. So this can be as simple or as sophisticated as you want it to be. You could utilize the tools like hyperlink your text, change different formatting if you want to just make it a quick bullet point list, have a paragraph, etc. So I'm just going to, for the sake of this demonstration, make a very quick, please, reflection. Please share your Day 1 reflections, right? Very simple, very basic for this example. I want to talk about this topic media, which is a way for you to engage your students. Perhaps it's adding an image, perhaps it's a diagraph or a screenshot from a slide presentation. You can record a video. Perhaps this is your 5-minute, 10-minute lecture that you want them to watch first and then engage with. Of course, we have social, fun things like Bitmojis, GIFs, and stickers. You can upload your own custom video, add from YouTube or Vimeo, or add integrations from Buncee and Adobe Spark simply by copying and pasting in a link, or adding other attachments, which is simply copying and pasting a URL. So for the sake, again, of doing a really quick sample, I'm going to go ahead and just choose, let's see, I don't know, a smiley face, right? Here we go. This, of course, let me just click through here and show you. These are those fun, creative sticker elements. You can use them or not use them if they look, more appropriate for a K-12 setting. Anything you want to do, customize. So maybe instead of choosing a sticker, I just type in hello, right? Here we go. Lionel Richie singing hello. How's that work, right? So quick reflection, and then it's as simple as save to a group. I do want to point out all of these other ways that you can customize your settings. You can schedule these. Perhaps you're working in advance for next week or next month. You can schedule it to go live. You can enable where you approve member activity. This is essentially a moderation tool which allows you to preview content before it's visible to others. In a higher ed setting, I would assume that you might or might not want to utilize this and just have things post before so that people can begin to engage with them immediately. If you're getting 15, 20, 30, 50 responses in, you can batch activate all at the same time so you don't have to click individually. But these are just ways that you can customize your Flipgrid topics anywhere from 15 seconds to 10 minutes. So you definitely get to be in control of how folks use the features within Flipgrid. So I always love leaving video and text comments on. Here's another really cool accessibility feature, determining the captions language. I'm going to leave this set to English. You can determine how folks respond, if you want them to submit a URL link, if you want them to be able to click like. I always toggle off likes and video counts because it doesn't really matter in my opinion. You remain in control of how your students utilize the camera tool inside of Flipgrid. So they have access to adding text, drawings, photos, stickers, frames, and boards, lenses, filters, GIFs, and backdrops. And if you don't want them to, and you want a simple video style photo, you can turn those off or keep them enabled. You also have the ability to invite guests with a guest password, but all of these are just settings you can customize. And again, it's as simple as giving it a title, a description, giving it some media if you want to engage your community, and setting a recording time. So it's that simple. It's that quick. It's that simple. And then, of course, you share. If you've already shared the group with them, they will begin to see all of the topics populate on the group, or you can invite them to individual groups at a time, or I'm sorry, individual topics at a time if you want them to. So I'm actually going to copy this. And then here in Zoom, for just a moment, I'm going to stop my video, but I'm going to share what it looks like from the student side and give a very quick demo of the Flipgrid camera for you. All right. And Karen, just because I cannot see the comments, so if there's a chat and folks have questions, please feel free to unmute and let me know what questions I can address as we're walking through this too. All right. Okay, so I'm going to stop my video, but on the screen, you'll notice it's as simple as going to flipgrid.com. So any student can access Flipgrid on the web at flipgrid.com, or copy and paste the link that you've shared, copy that code, or launch the free Flipgrid app. And so what you see now is the student view. And here's my topic. Notice there is that immersive reader tool if I want it. There are 0 responses so far, so all I have to do is click add a response. And then the Flipgrid camera launches, and the power of video in one moment when it loads, you will see I'm inside the Flipgrid camera. Let's give it a second. Come on and load for me. There we go. Hey, everybody. So across the back of this, down at the bottom, you notice all of these options and effects. And I do want to take a moment and walk through this. You have the ability to upload video clips. Perhaps they've created or produced a video and they just want to drop in that file and submit that video to you. The ability to use microphone only. So this is great for podcasting reflections or any reason they would want to stay off camera, etc. You can even choose to use that mirror video option, which is really cool for point of view, interviews, text on screen, etc. You also have the ability to mute the background audio if you want. We see this in a lot of American Sign Language communities where they choose to remove the background audio, silent films, other visual expressions without audio. There's also a built-in screen recorder where you can choose what you want to record. So whether that's a PowerPoint presentation, a Google slide deck, etc., or determine if you want to change front or rear facing camera on your device. All of those creative options are just built into the Flipgrid camera. But I love to share the effects. This is under the magic wand. And of course, these are those elements that you see people begin to get really creative in their expression. Flipgrid is a creative storytelling camera. So of course, there are different filters that folks might choose to use to change the theme or tone of the video. These can be used however you wish. Additionally, you have different text options. So my aha moment, right? I mean, anything and everything, and this can be as simple or as sophisticated as you want it to be. Additionally, there's an annotating tool with a pen. I love the board, which is allowing folks to go split screen if they want. Full screen, perhaps they're sharing and need a creative space to add text or an illustration. Of course, there are different stickers, and by that, those are all of the creative emojis. I want to point out things like the full music sticker pack, a complete American Sign Language sticker pack. There are math symbols and reactions in there, onomatopoeia sticker packs, speech bubbles, etc. So it's kind of a really cool creative way when folks begin to utilize a visual element. Of course, you see that utilized a lot to support visual learners, speakers of other languages with visual supports. And in K-12, I talked a lot with educators about the power of an emoji, but using them for good, right? In a creative way for shared expression. The power of a GIF or a GIF, whatever you call it. These can be used in all kinds of creative ways to level up the storytelling possibilities as well. But I want to point out the upload of a photo, which again would be allowing anybody to add a photo from their camera roll or their device, as well as putting in a creative frame or utilizing all of these creative features. So there are so many possibilities. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this board and just show you all of these buttons. But this is a brand new feature that was just launched on Thursday, the power to create a backdrop. So I'm here visiting my parents in their office, and maybe you don't want to see what's behind me. I have the same kind of effects that you see in Microsoft Teams to blur the background. You also have new creative backgrounds to just provide a different sort of element and get rid of whatever is behind you. So I'm going to go ahead and turn that filter off just so you can see these creative backdrops. But one of the things that I love to share is that you can use your background as, right? You can use your web browser or any background as the background. So now here I am inside of Flipgrid. Imagine this is you teaching from a slide, or you teaching from within a PowerPoint slide deck, or you going through your coursework or content or specific focal point you want to make, a video behind you, an image behind you, a website behind you. The possibilities are really truly endless. And I love that you actually can move yourself around on the screen. And so you're not the big focal point, but it's still giving you that personal connection while you're utilizing your screen as a backdrop. So this is a really cool option that you can use. Of course, these are all available as backdrops. So I'm just going to go ahead and do a quick recording to show you how simple it is. 3, 2, 1. Hey everybody, it's Anne. This has been like a super quick Flipgrid camera demonstration, just so I can push all the buttons and show you what they do. And I'm going to go ahead and click next. Hey everybody, it's Anne. This has been like if I want to, I can click add more and continue to add segment after segment, but I'm just going to go ahead and click next, take my quick selfie if I want to, and then submit it. And you will see that it begins to get posted as a response to the topic that you share with your community. So that is just quick, sort of the nitty gritty of how quick and simple it is to get started. I'm going to go ahead and click refresh. You'll see it's not posted yet because I have moderation turned on. But when I come back into my educator view, you see the student videos begin to populate, and it's hidden. I have that moderation on. So all I have to do is choose to make it active. And once it's active, others can see it. If I wasn't using moderation, it would automatically post. But let me show you how you can engage with this as the educator. Here's where you can respond with feedback, public or private. If you need to, you can go in and access and edit the captions. You have all kinds of ways that you can begin to engage with the responses when they begin to come in. My guess is the captions feature is something you're particularly interested in, but also making sure that you're aware of public and private comments. So the private comments, of course, for feedback can be text or video based on what's your need or what's meaningful for your community. So that's a silly little pause right there on the video. So I'm going to transition away from that screen and come back up and point out at the top, Discovery. Now, I mentioned this earlier with the slides. The Flipgrid Discovery Library is a database of almost 40,000 ready to use topics. And I want to point out some features that you might be interested, particularly in browsing by subjects or exploring partner content. Whatever your core content area or area of focus is, we have incredible resources from folks like BBC Learning, oh my gosh, the Equal Justice Initiative. We have really great resources from different institutions, Made by Dyslexia, NewsGuard, Scholastic, of course, different publishing houses, news literacy, different national parks, etc. So all of these vary based on content and whatever they're working on. So this one is really cool. The North American Scholastic Esports Federation, Intrepid Sea, Air, and Space Museum, the ESL Library is powerful with really rich content to support English learners. But I want to point out this one, Amplifier. This is a design lab that's providing free artwork and lesson plans for educators. So some of these might be familiar graphics for you. You might have seen these around, and I love these graphics from Amplifier, but you'll notice different topic attachments have been included and tips on how you can use these topics from partners. So it's as simple as selecting add it to your group, creating a new group, or even saving it for later. So if I click add it to a group, hey, there's that group I made for this training, and now I have access to it. I'm going to go to all my topics, and here it is right here. If I wanted to, I could make changes or move it, etc. But if I want to click into it, I can go ahead and click on that ellipsis and begin to edit it and customize it for my community if needed. So again, Discovery is just a really great place for you to find content. The other thing I want to point out specifically for high ed, you might be more interested in a general search using the different subject areas, right? Or going into your community and noticing a high ed search, or even doing a general search with your own search query and finding topics that way. So all of these are phenomenal resources for you to just sort of grab content that other folks are creating. But it's as simple as getting started and creating that first topic. Now, before I stop sharing, I guess I could turn my camera back on so that there's at least a little bit of things while I'm still sharing my screen. I mentioned Ramesh Langani's 1000 STEM Women project before, and I wanted to give you just another visual as I scroll through this. You can see there are 20,000 views and 400 plus hours of engagement. So again, that just speaks to the power of a community. It speaks to people utilizing and accessing tools on demand available for when they are. But I'm going to go ahead and just click into one of these. For example, this is Liz, who is a designer on our team at Flipgrid, but it is getting information directly from all of these unique individuals. I love that. Here's another really cool example. This one has 92 responses, 50,000 views, 2,300 hours of engagement. It was a karaoke contest. So again, if you can think it, you can Flipgrid it. There is no right or wrong way to do this, but it just speaks to the power of community and providing a space for folks to share and celebrate and showcase their authentic voice. So I would be remiss if I didn't go back one more time and show you. Now that that page is updated, there's my little response I just added. And so when I click on it, you see I, as the student, have the ability now to engage with content. I can respond to my peers. I have that reminder that it's moderated, meaning the educator is viewing it first. But there's one other thing that I have to point out. Again, back to my educator account. In the top right corner, that little question mark will launch the Flipgrid Help Center if you need any help. Getting started is a great place to look. And when you click on it, you'll notice our Help Center is fully embedded inside of Flipgrid as well. So if you want step-by-step tips on what to do while you're working on screen, definitely utilize that Help Center. Otherwise, it can be found right at help.flipgrid.com. And I love sharing this. I shared this with educators for years and years and years, even before I joined the team. It is answer to all of those frequently asked questions, but it also gives you all kinds of information from the basics to the integrations to educator inspiration, where you can find tips if you need to troubleshoot, and help.flipgrid.com is a great resource for that. So I'm going to pop back in and now I can launch the, there we go, crimson.ua.edu. That is exactly, Karen, thank you. Now I'm seeing your chat. It's as simple as getting started and utilizing that. That way, anybody who you share your code with, you invite via that link, or you share via Teams message, or you're sending out in your syllabus or an email. Anybody who knows the join code to your community, when you share it with them, they would simply auth in with their school email domain. A quick, easy way to get started. And I know I've raced through a bunch of information really, really fast, but it's recorded for you to rewind or speed up and let us know how we can help. We are here. There's an incredible community on campus. I know Karen is a great resource as well, but my name is Ann, ANN at flipgrid.com. Anybody watching this, you are welcome to email me or visit help.flipgrid.com for any answers to the questions that you may have. So I wish you a great school year and just want to say thank you. Thank you for what you're doing as educators and professors in your community to empower your scholars to learn on. So thank you, thank you, thank you.